PDR Tool Time, your industry podcast, tools, reviews, and stories.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of PDR Tool Time, episode 130. This is John Rinstrom alongside of Vince D'Alessandro and Daniel Grom. And today, our episode is being brought to you by Magnetek, Hawg Glue, and Mobile Tech RX. So, what's up, fellas?
Hey, man. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Good to see you guys.
I know we're recording this one a little bit late, but how was everybody's week last week?
Yeah,
Hot.
I had
Hot.
Yeah, it's super hot and smoky and ashy where I'm at. There's smoke and ash everywhere. Everything's on
Vince,
fire
you're
above me.
You're south of that enough. You're not catching much.
Oh,
of that,
not at all. I'm so far south. It's not even. It would have to burn like 10 billion houses and acres before it ever gets to
Isn't
me.
that funny how everybody thinks me and Vince live next door to each other?
Oh yeah.
But you know, I'm out here. I was at home in South Dakota, outside of Sturgis. You know, the Sturgis rally is going on. The smoke from the California fires following that jet stream are landing out here. So heavy. Our visibility has been knocked down. It smells like
Is that
heavy
right?
fire right in our own neighborhoods.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I
And
didn't
when you
even.
look at this, when you look at the satellite imaging, you can just see it dump right over onto us.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of the smoke from satellite, and I didn't realize it went all the way that far. But that's pretty incredible.
Dude, there's a picture that was posted of one of the guys that dump all the fire retardant on all the fires, and it was just dusk, so the sun was down, and he's flying over the clouds, and it looks like just bunch of puffs, but it was glowing red underneath.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
It looked like hell.
Yeah,
Crazy.
very insane.
that's incredible.
Well, hey, before we get too far into this, we got one thing we want to bring to you guys. So, one of the two of
Current
you want
news?
to take that off?
Current news.
Well,
right?
yeah, current news. We've been dealing with we have a bit of a conundrum here at PDR Tool Time, and we want to hear from our listeners because it's something that has been brought to our attention, and we want to make sure that it's not something that is disrespectful or poking the bear type of thing. And the thing is, there's been a lot of controversy over Dent Technologies and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the background with investigations, whether they're federal or local and this and that. And we've been approached to bring Mr. Marten Glenjoy onto the show, and we're battling it a little bit. We tend to be like Switzerland here, right, boys?
Yeah. We don't want to get too involved in stuff. Not too controversially, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because, this is a tool episode, but we also bring current news and we bring, stories and things like that. And this is definitely a big story that's affecting our industry. And not everyone's on Facebook. Not all our listeners are on Facebook. And
Exactly.
So we're kind of battling whether or not we should bring this gentleman on that has some certain knowledge. But we do want to listen to our listeners and find out what they want to hear. And here at Tool Time, PDR Tool Time, we want the facts. And we're not, to be honest with you, we're not really involved in all that stuff. We've kind of washed our hands of that ages ago. We've moved on. We all have our personal opinions of Dent Technology. John only heard about him a couple years ago.
I'm new to the whole thing.
You're new to the whole thing. I'm a little bit more vested. Daniel's even more vested with, dealing with Dent Technologies with some certain tools and stuff like that and giving input. But, Daniel gives input to everyone. And he's just a big old cuddly bear that loves everyone. And
Yeah.
right? So
His paws are in everything.
right.
Well, you know what? My whole view is if I can help out any and all tool makers out there make a better tool, I'm here to do that, and I don't need a profit on it. But I have an opinion. I have good insight. I have an idea of what it takes to bring a product to market. And, even though you can design a good product, you also have to take in consideration of how that product gets made. And that kind of background and knowledge helps a lot of tool guys. But, this whole thing has been very well known on Facebook if you're in the circles. And we don't know who this guy is. We personally, in fact, I don't want to know. No, I don't want to know who Marten Glenjoy is.
Nor does John or myself. We don't want to know who this gentleman is.
I have no interest in knowing. Aside from being tagged in one of his posts, I've stayed completely out of them.
Yeah.
As well.
And, I think if we brought him on, we'd probably still stay very neutral about the whole thing, stating facts. And, so we're wanting to hear from you guys out there. If we do bring it on, we're going to keep his identity a secret from us and from you. We don't want to know who he is. We would probably try to figure out how to disguise his voice or something like that.
We will disguise his voice, 100%. I will figure that out.
And actually, it'll be done on his end so that we never hear his real voice either.
Well, and here's the facts with PDR Tool Time. Whether it's John, whether it's Daniel, myself, John Hiley, Mike Toledo, we do have relationships with the tool manufacturers. But we don't have relationships with their inner workings of their finances and how they do business and stuff like that. We've always been interested in their tools, and that's what this podcast is about, is tools. So, in the past, have we had Jeremy Langton on from Dent Technologies? Yes. Did we want to bring him in and redeem himself for the Moonlight debacle, the first generation? Yes. Did we bring him on and he came on and shined? Absolutely. Did he win the hearts of Daniel Grom with his Moonlight version 2.2? At the time he did. But, there's a whole aspect of Dent Technologies that we don't know about, and nor do we have any interest in knowing about, because really we're about the tools and what comes out. And, let it be said, I use a Dent Technologies blending hammer every day. The one that I got was not malshapened or misformed or defective. Yeah,
but that's the same with one I have.
There's plenty of people that have said that the build quality is horrible. So, we don't know. We do know some of the stuff is true. There's facts that's been made. And so the real dilemma that we have with the podcast is bringing on a gentleman that is controversial, that has knowledge, inside knowledge of business dealings that we don't really pay attention to, or do we care to pay attention to? But I think as an industry, we probably should shed a little bit of light on it and see, his motivations behind it.
Right.
So if you want to hear about it, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. Some of you people are not going to want to, make it known on Facebook and stuff like that. We get plenty of emails,
private message,
text messages, private message us. Let us know, please, because it is something that we're battling with internally. It's not something that we tread lightly with. And the one thing's for certain is there's big players in this industry with tools that have already washed their hands of this situation and don't want anything to do with it at all.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And, kudos to them, because they've taken the high road, but I've heard through the grapevine that they're still getting accused of certain things. So,
which I don't understand, but
no, it's not fair.
But no.
All right.
So that's all we have to say. Just let us know what your thoughts are and stuff like that.
Get us up.
So, John, back to how your week has gone. It's been kind of a little bit consumed with all that stuff with Dent Technologies. Seeing that we've been intertwined with that incidentally, but that's been a big chatter on the boards lately, as you know.
Yep. So it's been kind of nuts, and so hopefully we can get a little bit of truth out there, and it's definitely, we don't want to turn anything into a bash episode or anything like that. But yeah, let's hit us up, give us your opinion. You want to hear about it, and either we'll go forward or we'll 86 it.
Yep.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So moving on, switching gears, as you will.
Oh wait, one more thing though, Daniel.
Yeah. What?
Maybe we'll have him on regardless and record it, and then just put it. If no one wants to hear it, we'll just put it in the archive, and we'll just be like the people that know something that no one else knows.
I have the knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Yeah.
All right, I had to make light of it because I'm an idiot like that. So, okay, Daniel. So we have a topic tonight, and this is kind of a weird topic because Daniel and myself probably are not as entwined with it, but John might have some useful knowledge.
And I don't even know what the topic is.
Exactly. So we're just going to spring it on them.
Yeah. So my whole thing is I've seen some posts on what insurance companies are doing right now with their apps. They have an app, and you can submit a claim, a body shop claim for a dent. And I honestly don't know their parameters, and I don't know which exactly companies are doing this, but I just wanted to bring it up because what I saw on Facebook was how people were submitting an ad or submitting a claim on a dent, and they were getting a check like 2 days later for the claim. And the whole controversy is they're getting lowballed. So they're getting this claim for their dent at conventional prices, right? But I think it falls in line more with our prices. So my thinking is how do we turn this into an advantage for the PDR community? How do we take this lowball for the body shops, which is really in line with what we do? And I think there's an advantage there. And I want to know what your guys' opinion of that is. John, you're muted.
So I'll talk until John's done.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, John.
Coughing, and I thought I unmuted myself. Well, I have used it as far as one of the apps goes because State Farm is a complete and total idiot in their entire claims handling process. Their instructions are dead nut simple. I mean, they're designed for average Joe Blow idiot to use, and those of us who've dealt with John and Jane consumer understand where the problem lies with
now,
that.
When you say you used it, did you use it personally for a claim that you were doing?
Yes. They actually tried to get me to use it for my hail claim on my own 17 Grand Cherokee, which was a complete total flop because it's only designed to upload 2 photos. So you're supposed to take them at a 45-degree angle, and you only have like two photo slots that you can upload your photos into. It turned into a big argument with me personally, but yeah, what they got is it's just a desk reviewer. And we've all seen photos, and most of us didn't, guys. Most of you that have retail shops or do the route or the mobile thing have gotten your customers to send you photos. You got a good idea on a rough estimate. But when you're doing collision stuff, there's a lot of broken things on the back sides. You know, headlight tabs break off. You know, there's the mounting tabs for a bumper cover. You know, if that gets flexed, you can see that in person. And all of us who are experienced car repairers know to look at that. When we see the bumper cover sitting out just a little bit, we know that those tabs aren't holding on the top of that bumper cover. Something is broke back there, whether it be the bumper cover or not. Desk reviewer is not going to care. They're just going to flop the numbers out. They might as well be cat team. You know, they are lowballing. But if you're just talking a dent, something that could be a fender dent. I can see them getting that check and dent guys making out.
So here's the scenario. This is the scenario I see happening. So you go out and you're looking at a dent that is, let's say, about a football size. So it's a significant dent, maybe on a front fender. And, you ask your customer if they've considered insurance, and they're open to that. Right. And they're going to say, it depends on the estimate. And you already know where your estimate's going to fall. It's going to fall in the $800 to $1,000 range, maybe $1,200 range. And if they're open to it, then you write it full boogie and get them to commit to insurance. But you want to qualify the customer ahead of time and say, what insurance company you have. So, we need to come up with a list of insurance companies that are doing this type of claim. And then you say, hey, you can use an app to submit a claim, and you might even be able to put a couple bucks in your pocket. And that's how I see this scenario kind of going down.
I see what you're going with, but I believe that there's some legal ramifications, because when the desk adjuster or the guy that comes out and looks at it, if he's writing it for conventional, you're supposed to do conventional repair on it. That's my understanding. Would you agree with that, John?
If they put your name on the check, you would have to get a customer to sign a basically conversion agreement that says.
See, I don't think that's the case, though. See,
it depends on how that claim gets handled.
But see,
and who owns the car? What if a lease company owns the car, or a finance company? They're still making payments on the car.
Well, you're still going to do the repair. The whole premise is you're going to be able to do the repair and fix the repair. So that's going to be fixed.
With what you're talking about, Daniel, as long as the customer, because your estimate would be meaningless. That's only to the customer. Now, when the customer calls their insurance and turns in the claim, then they will more or less assign that claim to the app. Then the customer can take the photo, send it in, the desk reviewer does it. Customer gets a check, and then they can come back to you and get the repair.
Right.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's the ideal scenario that you're talking about.
Right.
However, such as the case on State Farm, Allstate, those are the two key. That's the number one and number two insurance company in the U.S. And they both have the app. If they write that check to you, then you're going to be looking at legal ramifications.
No,
if you try to highball it and then try to repair it for a lower dollar amount, anything like that.
No, you want them to you want the customer to get the check.
Yeah, the customer needs to have that money free and clear. And if that check gets made out to the lien holder, lease company, if there's anybody else's name on it,
or a two-party shop and customer. Yeah.
If it's lien holder and that, if they still come to you and repair the car, and I've done this in the past, even back when I had my body shop, repaired the car, the customer writes me a check for my repairs, then they take the repaired automobile in, get it inspected by their lien holder, and then the lien holder signs off on the check. They deposit that whole check in their account and then call me up and tell me, hey, my check's good, cash. That's a win-win for the shops and us PDR guys.
So let me ask you this question. So let's say you do your estimate, right? Let's say the estimate's your estimate's $800, and then you use Mobile Tech RX, and so you look at conventional repair, and conventional repair should be $1,200 based off of your app,
right?
And you tell the customer that. Does the customer have any power with the insurance company when they send back a estimate? No.
None. The only, and here's how the insurance companies get around that. And it works the same way on the CAT teams for hail. It's always the same story. Oh, if it's off, just have the shop send in a supplement and we'll take care of it without a question. We will guarantee all the repairs, and we will guarantee that we will pay for all those repairs. Just have the shop send in a supplement.
Okay.
Now, I have a scenario for you right now. I have a 2001 Porsche 911 in the shop right now. The guy's bike fell off the bike rack on the roof, hit the roof rail, dented it, scratched it in multiple locations. So we wrote it up for 6 hours of body time and paint and everything like that. And my estimate came out to $3,400 to paint the quarter panel and the rail. So when I sent that in, we're just going to do a desk review, send us pictures. I sent in the pictures. I sent them our estimate, which was not on Mobile Tech RX. It was a regular body shop estimate that I had a buddy, because we don't do a lot of these, so I had a buddy write it up as a regular conventional repair. So,
you'll be happy to know in the update getting ready to be released, you can do paint and body in Mobile Tech RX complete with material rates and everything.
See, and I can't wait for that, because this is the one-offs that always come in. I maybe get 2 or 3 scenarios like this a month that I call my buddy in a body shop and he writes it up. Turns out he wrote it up based off of pictures. I screwed myself out of about $1,000 worth of other stuff based on that. But anyways, it went to the desk review. He looks at the pictures. He gives me a check to the customer for $1,200 based on the dents on the roof rail. So I got a $3,400, repair on this Porsche 911. He came up with his figure. I'm like, you know what? He beat me down on price. Shop hours, we charge $55 an hour. He's like, we're only going to pay you $46. And we're not going to pay for this. We're not going to pay for that. And once he started beating me up, I'm like, you know what? You need to send someone out to inspect the car. He goes, really? I go, yeah, absolutely. You have to send someone out to inspect this car, because there's no way we're doing this job realistically, I'm doing push to paint on it, but it's still getting painted. We have to take everything off, R&I, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, okay, no problem. He'll be out there on Monday. Guy shows up, gives me everything I want, plus everything that I missed, and it turned out to be a $4,300 repair. And he gave us 6 hours of body time. I had it done in 45 minutes with push to paint, which is perfectly fine. That's neither here nor there. That's not fraud. Right. That's what the hours it would have taken to do body time. However, I have 2-party check coming. It's going to have my name on it and the customer's name. So say, like your scenario, what you're saying, Daniel, say there's no paint damage, and I got a check for $4,300, and I'm just doing PDR on it, and it's a bigger dent. That's, in my mind, that's technically fraud. Unless that check went to the customer. Because basically that insurance company said, you're going to repair and you're going to repaint this.
Yeah, if you cash that check, that says that you did all that work.
Exactly.
You're also liable for the taxes upon that full check amount that you cashed.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, if I was Harry Potter and I waved my wand and I can fix that, I should be able to get paid for that.
But, right. The only thing you don't want is if the customer got, say 3 times the amount that you were asking, you don't want them putting that check in your name where you have to cash it and give that money back to the customer.
Right.
That's the only thing you don't want. Otherwise, it's all perfect.
Yeah.
And what I've done in cases, even going back to when I had my body shop, when I did retail for paintless dent repair, I would just tell them to call their insurance agent and have them cut them a new check.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Now,
just go get a different check.
Now, what I've done too, John and Daniel, on the flip side of that is I've had an insurance company write a new hood or a new fender for replacement. And I could do PDR on it and push the paint and save that panel from replacement. And also now my painter does not have to blend into the door or into the fenders, because I've done all the body work and now made his repair that would have been a replacement, blending into fenders or blending into a door, is now compartmentalized, and now all he has to do is blend out the fender or blend out the hood.
Yeah.
What I do in that scenario is I make sure that I make a note, customer requested no replacement of fender or no replacement of hood. It's all about covering your ass, in my opinion.
Right, yeah.
and documenting these things. That way it doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. Because
Exactly.
I've had where Mercury Insurance came out and he's like, you can't PDR that. I go, yeah, I can. I go, write it up for conventional. And it comes out to $1,200. I go, I'll do it for $1,100. And he's giving it to me. He's like, yeah, if you could do that for PDR for $1,100 all day. And he goes back and he does his own numbers, but it's off of my shoulders. And now I'm not responsible for it.
Yeah.
The customer was pissed that I had it done in one day for $1,100, but that's another story. Thanks to Paul Corden on that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I just think I want this conversation to continue online. I want to see how we can turn this into an advantage, because I think there is an advantage, and
I think it's so new. This is like the first year for these. I think it's so new. It's going to take us all a bit to shake them out and see how it will work in our favor. But I think there is a good chance, because they're going to lowball conventional. And you're right, Daniel. They'll lowball the conventional, and it's going to come in where we are for PDR.
Yeah. So I think we can get out in front of this whole thing and make it work for us.
And that's where getting your name out, marketing, making sure your customers know you exist in your town. Make sure they know you're there and that you can do those kind of repairs.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If you're doing those big shots, guys, take the photos and videos, guys and gals. Get those photos and videos. Perfect those. And
is there a way to get a list of what insurance companies are doing this?
I don't know. Honestly, I
think all of them do desk reviews. It's a matter of the apps. I know like Progressive does it, Allstate does it, State Farm is doing it.
State Farm, yep.
But all of them do desk reviews. If it's
at
something,
some point, Geico is going to.
Yeah, but if it's something that's just common and small, that doesn't affect frame damage and stuff like that, a lot of them will do a desk review.
Yeah.
I think it's an advantage, because what I've heard is the insurance companies are rushing out a check. They're wanting to close that deal, and they want that customer to cash that check. And
when you think about it, it's no different than hail and going to the cat team tents. It really is. It's absolutely no different than that, because
how do you mean?
Well, in
like the
old
one
days,
I called you on, John, right?
Yeah, exactly. In the old days, somebody got hail damage. They went to the body shop. They got the estimate. They sent the estimate into the insurance company, and the insurance company paid off that estimate. Or they would go get 2 or 3, and the insurance company would write the check for the lowest one. Now, when the cat team comes in, cat team lowballs every estimate.
Yeah.
And writes the check off of that. National average used to be in the early 2000s was 14% repaired in hail. I think now, because of the price of cars, the sophistication of the equipment, everything else, national average is probably 22 or 24%. I haven't seen a recent survey yet. But it's still, when you think about that, that's 80% cash out. Well, you couldn't do that on conventional before. It just couldn't be done. All right, take it to a body shop, get your 2 estimates, send it in, we'll write the check. Now, everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody photos everything. Everybody's life is on Instagram and Facebook. Insurance companies, it's only an intelligent business move. It can save them millions, billions, because they can take all of those conventional repairs, lowball them the same way that they do on the hail repair, under the guise of, hey, when you take it in, if it's more, we'll pay it. We're not going to fight you on that. So, but the bonus side is that dollar amount is right where us PDR guys are probably going to want that. And if these customers have that much money in their pocket, they're all itching to spend it. Hopefully they spend it on one of us.
Well, here's the funny thing. This is the one that I called you on the other day, John. And I just pulled up the estimate, right? And this is a Allstate claim from a catastrophe team, right? Supplement hotline, blah, blah, blah. So this poor lady, she's from Southern California, and she was in Denver, and she got hit. And it says points of impact, 27. Do you know any car in Denver that only has 27 points of impact?
Point of impact 27 might just be the inside code that says hail damage.
Okay. Well,
Or
they're claiming
corporate
that there's 5 dents on the roof.
And how many were there actually?
There was
haven't
5
seen it yet.
fixable dents. Yeah, there's 5 fixable dents on the roof.
So they're
The
saying
rest of it needs replaced.
PDR 5 dime-sized dents, a plus 25% because it's a roof, exterior roof for $125. Now I haven't seen this car yet, but from what I hear about Denver, I don't think there's any cars that have 5 dents on the roof.
No,
Dime
I've done
size.
some gravy cars this year, but none of them rolled out in Denver. Some of them are crushed.
Maybe it was under a tree.
So, and this is the best part. The total cost for repairs is $3,800. I'm sorry, $4,300, and $1,800 are in replacement moldings alone. So if the moldings are wasted, and you're telling me that there's only 5 dents on the roof,
Yeah.
God.
something wrong.
Yeah, if there's going to be 500 dents on the roof.
Yeah.
So
So
it all depends on where she was at in Denver. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But if they're going to start doing this on some minor collision repairs, which is what we're hoping to see,
sure.
then yeah, I see it being a boom and driving people, because those guys would go to a body shop, of course, and then they're going to get their estimate and say, you know, the insurance company paid them $1,000, and they go to the body shop and it's $2,200, and they go to a PDR company and they're $800. Then it's really going to shift over. Hope it does. I really hope it does.
Yeah.
Didn't Denver get hit again this weekend?
They got hit again this weekend, but Colorado Springs got crushed, absolutely crushed. I was on the phone with a gentleman there. It's destroyed. These things are extra bad. It was baseball size. Tom Price even had a post on Facebook saying the only thing that he's ever seen worse than that in all of his years was Wiley, Texas 3 years ago, which I was in part of that catastrophe.
And that was pretty bad, huh?
If Tom is saying that's pretty bad, because Tom's the oldest PDR guy in the history of PDR.
Yes, he invented PDR. For those of our listeners that don't know Tom Price,
he's the grandfather.
Yeah. So all the photos that I seen, the guy that I was talking to today, stuff is bad, really, really, really bad. If you're there, and you're going to need to be an A+ dent tech
with a power PDR box.
And then you're still, I mean, it drove through. I saw photos on Facebook today where the hailstones went not only through the back glass, but through the rear deck where the speakers are on the cars.
Nice.
And last time I saw that was out of Wiley, Texas.
Wow.
So
you would think that people would have gotten killed in a situation like
lots of injuries. I haven't read any reports of deaths, but lots of injuries.
Could you imagine getting hit in the head with something like that?
That's something
Those
you
are
never
killers.
hear on the news. You never hear of somebody being killed.
There are people that have been killed by hailstones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it
here-
on the news, though.
Up here, because it's hard to actually find population to get hit, we call those storms cattle killers.
Right.
Because after the storm passes, ranchers have to go out and check the herd. Because if they hit the herd, there's dead cows.
Dead cows. Yeah. Poor fellas.
Very sad.
Oh, sad. Poor cows. Screw the people. Poor cows.
I did hear, but haven't received confirmation that the Sturgis motorcycle rally got hit today. But I haven't received.
Ooh, that's good for me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any or heard any firsthand accounts. I just
Can I send you some flyers there, John?
John,
can you go pass out flyers?
Your trucking stuff isn't lettered up at all. You run incognito, right?
No, and my house is between Sturgis and Rapid City, South Dakota. And the road that leads back to my house goes to Black Hills Harley, which is the largest Harley Davidson dealer, I think, in the U.S. Because of Sturgis, and they're right down the road from Sturgis. So
yeah, no, it used to be Laidlaw's.
I'm glad to be 130 miles away.
Laidlaw's was the biggest dealership out here.
Okay.
In the country. But I don't know. Maybe that's true now. Laidlaw's, they haven't called me in years. I used to do a lot of bikes for him 10 years ago. They had their own body shop. Not too many dealerships have their own body shop for.
This place is obnoxious. Their demo rides go down the road. I grew up around Sturgis. We had a lot of fun going to Sturgis, but I am so over it at 44. If I'm at home, fine. But man, when I'm driving back and forth. It's 135 miles. I don't want to drive. Your inconsistent speed ass get the hell out of the way and stay over there in that lane and get off the line.
Yeah.
Why do guys on motorcycles field it? I've ridden motorcycles thousands of miles. One place I do not ride, the center line.
Yeah.
It is the most
right?
dangerous location there is.
Yeah.
I was driving home from Sacramento yesterday, and there was a guy on a Harley that had the wide foot pegs. You know, he's cruising. He's right on the line. We went through a construction section, and it was skinny. And I didn't pass him because I thought it was going to hit his foot.
Yeah. We watched a guy about drop his full dresser. Obviously, he was riding with his two buddies, and this guy, a checkbook lifestyle, you know. That's a heavy bike. It's a big bike. And this guy couldn't even hardly hold it up.
Yeah.
And he was trying to turn it around in a gravel parking lot. And there's four of us in my friend's crew cab pickup. We're like, we're going to have to scrape this bastard out from underneath that thing.
Well, just, you know what? It has to be kind of cool, though, because I know I live only 10 blocks from the beach. And there's times that if we have nothing to do, we'll go down to the launch ramp and watch people launch their boats. And
that is good fun.
Oh, it's a hilarious thing to do. You know, we just sit there and we pull out some lawn chairs and we sit there and crack open a beer or two and just watch the show.
I can imagine.
It is so funny.
Yeah, because you're watching for the big thing, which is them
the truck going in,
the whole thing in the drink.
Yeah, sinking their whole car.
I've only seen it once.
Nice.
And to be honest with you, it almost happened to me. I had a really heavy boat and blew my transmission on the launch ramp. I had to have it was a 7,000-pound boat, and I was pulling it with a Dodge van. You know, like equivalent to like 150. But I only live 10 blocks, so it wasn't a big deal to bring it back and forth. But it was a big deal that day. I got stranded on the launch ramp and had the tow truck have to winch me off the launch ramp.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll do that. You sit outside a dealer at Sturgis and watch the newbies try to take off on rentals.
Oh, stuff. Yeah. It's got to be a lot of fun.
Oh, Captain Shaky Legs is going down.
Whoa. Yeah.
Too funny.
Well, that's awesome. Well, once again, we want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Magnetek Mat, Mobile Tech RX, and Hawg Glue. And we want to thank you all for tuning in and let us know about what we were talking about earlier about who we want to get on the episode here, and give us your opinion, because your opinion counts.
Exactly.
Does anybody care?
Does anybody care? We need to know. So,
is anybody out there?
So, Daniel, what do you got to say?
You know, guys, spend a little bit of money every month and level up your tools.
Don't do stupid stuff.
Peace out. I still got to come up with something better. This has been another episode of PDR Tool Time.